So using VR again, I have shrunk myself down into a model, and I'm going to explain to you why I'm dancing around with someone that looks like they came from the Blueman Group. Stay tuned. So in this video, what I want to do is go over another VR software called InsiteVR. The reason I've chosen this software, just like the last one, is because it has Navisworks integration. There's a lot of softwares out there that use VR that has Revit direct input from Revit models into their VR software. Our company and many others around do not use Revit as their model viewer. So that's the reason I've kind of chosen these two here to test out and to review. So what is InsiteVR? Well, let's hear a little bit about that from Russell, one of the co-founders of InsiteVR.
So we've been focusing on mobile headsets for the last 4 years. We specialize in getting really large models into mobile headsets like the Oculus Quest. So the Oculus Quest is a wireless headset. It's only $399. And the reason that we focus on these is because our software is a coordination and collaboration software. So we're focused on getting multiple people into a model at the same time so that they can talk to each other, see each other, mark things up together, solve issues in VR that you wouldn't find by just looking at a 2D plan or looking at a Revit model.
So InsiteVR, you can get a 14-day trial version of Insight. So all you have to do is go to their website, click on try for free, fill out your information, and they will get in contact with you, figure out what a good plan is, and kind of walk you through the steps of setting up either your machine or your Oculus Quest. Once you have it loaded and you install it on your system, it will install a plug-in for Navisworks. And it'll come up with a icon up at the top called InsiteVR. So you click on that. And so once you're in your model, what you can do is go to export. Okay. And I've already exported this one here, but it'll go through and export it out. So once it exports out, it comes up with a pop-up menu, and it says it's ready to upload to InsiteVR, and it gives you some suggestions. It's desktop compatible, so if you've got an Oculus Rift or a HTC Vive that's running off of a computer, it's saying it's good for that. If you've got an Oculus Quest or an Oculus Go, it is compatible with this one also. So you can hit OK. So you can actually view it in VR in this window here. So if we put on our headsets, you'll be able to see that you have some controls that you can go around and look at. And so it kind of gives you a this is more of a solo look of the model. So once you have that, then you can go ahead and upload it to InsiteVR. So once you have it in the actual software of InsiteVR, you can see your projects in here. So we've got a couple here. This is our test project. You can look at a solo view or start a VR meeting. And you can see who it was created by and when it was created, and right now what members. So let's go into the model itself and show you some of the features inside of InsiteVR.
All right, sweet. So the reason I wanted you to come into Quest is because the Quest controllers actually are specially color-coded. And this makes training much easier. So usually when you have a new team in VR together for the first time, I'll conduct my training all in VR, and then we can kind of use the Quest color-coded controllers to talk. So usually how I introduce VR for the first time to new people is I tell them about the joysticks, right? Because movement is the most important thing. So on your left hand, you got the yellow joystick, and on the right hand, you got your purple joystick. So yellow will be your smooth movement. So if you want to just move like I'm moving right here, you just move that yellow joystick there. Okay. Now, if you want to turn in VR, your purple joystick, if you click that right and left, you'll turn. So that'll be easy enough there. So you just click it, and you can do a 360. Okay. And on your purple joystick, if you push it forward, of course, you'll have the teleporter as well. And we can see each other's teleporters, which is kind of nice for training purposes. So why don't you go ahead and teleport to where I am? All right, perfect. All right, there you go. Now, also, if you look down at your hands, you'll see the color of your avatar randomly assigned. So the host of the meeting is always blue. Right now, you're pink, but the host will always be blue. So that's how you can tell who the host is, as well as it says host above their name here. Now, the last of the movement controls is with the joysticks, instead of pushing them forward, if you click them down like they're buttons, you'll have this elevator mode here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of nice if you're in like a dense piping area to be able to just use elevator to kind of get out of that. So our VR menus are also synced up as well. So if I open up my menu, I can show it to you. You'll be able to see it. This is very helpful for training as well. So I can come around your shoulder here if you're a new user, and I can say, okay, here's our tools. So add speech to text is the first one. I'll demonstrate that for you. So it counts down 3, 2, 1. This is a speech to text annotation. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Click finish recording. And now I can place that annotation somewhere in the space on the geometry that we're looking at. This is a very powerful tool for Insight. This is the way most people will actually go around and mark things up. When I drop that annotation onto that pipe there, it actually automatically takes a screenshot of that you can then download in a PDF or a CSV later. It says who created it, what time, what the element that it's tagged to is, and you can also sync that up with BIM 360 as well. So if you have your account linked to BIM 360, whenever you create a note, it will push it up to BIM 360 issues.
Okay.
So there you go. So if you have a long in the middle, maybe it thought it re-recorded it. So this is actually a good example, though. So if you make a mistake, you want to delete it, what you can do is come up here into the View Annotations on your menu. I'm just pointing here on your menu. View Annotations. And then you'll see the annotations here, and you can delete that one and recreate it. But we also have preset annotations as well. So if you come in here, you click preset annotations. So these are notes that you can actually create from your computer. So you can actually edit this list and add whatever you want here. And then during your meeting, as you're going around, instead of having to use speech to text, you can always just click one of those and drop it wherever you want. All right, so next up we got screenshots. So if you open up the screenshot tool, you have a camera on your hand, in your right hand. And of course, you can point that wherever you want, take a screenshot, pretty straightforward. I'm sure you're familiar with this tool. The reason you have the screenshot tool, though, is for the sketching and the measuring. So sketching and measuring, if you want to get any of your sketches or measurements into your PDF, your annotations list, you'll have to take screenshots of them. So we can just try sketching now here, so you can test that out. Pretty straightforward sketching tool you're probably familiar with. So by default, you sketch on surfaces. But of course, you can always sketch onto in 3D space as well. So if you turn off this option on your menu, the sketch on surface option, you'll be able to now just draw wherever your hand is. There's a pen on the tip of your hand. And a lot of times people will go ahead and use the sketching tool in here to, for example, say maybe we wanted to move this pipe here like this for some reason. So you can do it from here, and it actually will scale your drawing. So now I can actually come over here and teleport down into the model. You see me waving around as a little dude here. Oops, let me come back up. Let me come back in here. So I can gather us. And now here you actually see the drawing back in the model here at full scale. So it's a nice way to do some large schematic drawing, especially for piping models, where you draw from the dollhouse and then you can come back in here and see kind of how it works. So one thing is I just teleported away from you, so I disappeared. If you wanted to find out where I am, what you can do is open up your meeting menu, so the meeting button right next to the create button, and then you can click go to next to my name and you'll find where I am. Yep, perfect. All right, let's do measuring real quick. So go ahead and open up your create menu there, start measuring. All right, now measuring is simple. You just click on where you want to start measuring and click on where you want to end. And it will give you the XYZ coordinate as well as the 2 points that you connected, very similar to Navisworks in that respect. And you also will see all these measurements on your menu as well. So if you do a measurement far away and it's a little blurry, you can always look at your menu and it will give you all the different dimensions there.
Does it keep those, or as soon as you do another measurement, do they go away?
Yeah, right now we only have one at a time. That's something in the yeah, just like Navis.
Then you just go back to your photo options, take a picture of it, and then you have it.
Exactly. Exactly. So you have create views. So views are kind of neat. They're just saved saved points in the model. So if I click save current location, this is now a view that you can teleport back to in your views menu. But one thing that views does, which is kind of special, is it also saves the geometry of the model that you're in. So one of the nice things about InsiteVR is that we can have really huge models on the Quest. And the way we achieve that is by streaming them in from, say, BIM 360. And so this model is pretty small, so the whole thing fits on the Quest at once. But if you had maybe 100 million triangle model, you would only be able to get maybe 3, 4, 5 million triangles in at a time. So what you do is you can stream in different portions, and then you can create views in those sections, and it saves those. So then when you go back to your views menu and you click on say a view from another portion of the model, it automatically loads that section in. So let's do inspect properties. So you click that, and now you can click on any element in the space and it will bring up the data from BIM 360.
I want to thank Russell from InsiteVR for jumping in there and doing a meeting online. That way you could really tell that we were in two different locations. He was in New York and I was here in Texas, and we were conducting a meeting across state lines, and it worked out perfectly. InsiteVR is a very good software, but like any software, there's pros and cons, and I like to go over those right now. First, on the cons. Right now, there's no BIM support for CADWorks data. Not that I've been able to find, and when I asked Russell about it, he didn't know enough about it to steer in the right direction, and I haven't been able to find it yet either. So if you're using CADWorks, you might not be able to get the CADWorks BIM data in there to be able to view. Second, you have to create the views inside of the InsiteVR software. There's no way to export that out from Navisworks and have the software bring in your already saved viewports into InsiteVR. Now on to the pros list. InsiteVR has some really good features in there, and it's got a pretty good amount of pros on my list. So the first one is that it has support for the Oculus Go and the Oculus Quest. It allows you to kind of drop in and out of a meeting. If you are signed on with an Oculus Go for a meeting, you can put it on and see what you want to see and then get out of it if you want to. I think that's a really good feature. Secondly, the measuring functions. I think the measuring functions are far superior to some of its competitors because it gives you the X, Y, and Z just like you would normally see like in Navisworks. Yes, there's no way to save it, but there's no way to save it in Navisworks either. So you just got to take a screenshot of it. So, to me, that's a very big bonus. Another one is text from speech. So you can use the microphone in the Quest or the Rift, or even the HTC Vive if you're a Vive person, to record your text for your reports, your PDFs, and that's a really good feature. I like that. Another pro would be the controls. I think InsiteVR has some really good features there where you're able to move not only forward and backwards like you're walking, but also side to side. That way, if you need to look at something a little closer and you're just almost on it, you can just slide to the right or slide to the left and be able to view whatever you want to. So that's our look at InsiteVR. I hope that helps you look at the software, kind of gives you a feel for it, and maybe give you something to look at and play around with. Please give the guys at InsiteVR a ring. They're more than willing to help. They'll walk you through the process, and really good guys to work with. So please, if there's anything you would like us to look at in the future or go over, please let us know. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down at the bottom. Share this video out with as many friends and colleagues as you know, and please, if you have any questions, just let me know and I'll be glad to help you out with it.